Before fighter pilots ever saw the enemy, radar had already seen them. In World War II, an invisible technology changed the fate of entire nations, and most people never even knew it. It wasn't a faster fighter. It wasn't a heavier bomber. It wasn't a more powerful weapon. It was something silent, almost unseen, but decisive. And without it, Britain likely would have fallen in 1940. In the early months of the war, Germany looked unstoppable. Blitzkrieg crushed Poland. France collapsed in weeks. Most of Europe fell under Nazi control. And above it all, the Luftwaffe dominated the skies with ruthless efficiency. Hitler's strategy was clear. Before invading Britain, he had to destroy the Royal Air Force. Without air superiority, no amphibious invasion could succeed. So began the Battle of Britain. Wave after wave of German bombers crossed the English Channel. Heinkels, Dorniers, Junkers, escorted by Messerschmitt Bf 109 fighters. Their mission was simple: destroy RAF airfields, eliminate aircraft on the ground, cripple British industry, and break civilian morale. But something didn't add up. The British were always ready. RAF fighter squadrons scrambled at exactly the right time. They intercepted German formations before they reached their targets. It felt almost impossible. It wasn't luck. Before German pilots ever saw the English coastline, they had already been detected. Stretching along Britain's southeastern coast stood tall steel towers, some rising over 300 feet into the air. This network was known as Chain Home, the world's first fully operational integrated radar defense system. Radar stands for radio detection and ranging. It works by transmitting radio waves outward. When those waves strike a metallic object, like an aircraft, part of the signal reflects back. By measuring the time delay and direction of the returning signal, operators could calculate distance and bearing. For the first time in history, a nation could detect incoming aircraft more than 100 miles away, long before they were visible. This eliminated surprise. Before radar, air defense relied on visual spotters with binoculars and giant acoustic listening devices designed to detect engine noise. Those systems were slow and unreliable. Radar changed that instantly. But the real British advantage wasn't just radar itself. It was how radar was integrated into a command system. Information from Chain Home stations flowed into Fighter Command headquarters under Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding. Data was filtered, confirmed, and passed to regional control rooms. Giant plotting tables displayed real-time enemy positions using markers moved by hand. Controllers then directed specific RAF squadrons to precise interception points. This created something revolutionary, the world's first fully integrated air defense network. Germany had more planes, Britain had a system, and systems beat numbers. While German pilots believed they were launching surprise attacks, they were flying into a monitored airspace, calculated, anticipated, and prepared. Now here's where things get even more critical. The Luftwaffe knew those radar towers existed. Some were bombed early in the campaign, a few were damaged, but German leadership misunderstood their importance. They believed destroying airfields would be enough. They underestimated the resilience of the radar network and the coordination behind it. Chain home stations were difficult to permanently disable. Towers could be repaired, equipment could be replaced, and the network itself was redundant. Then came a strategic shift. Instead of focusing on RAF infrastructure, Germany began bombing London and major cities during the Blitz. Civilian areas became targets. Fires burned across the capital. But while cities suffered, Fighter Command regrouped. Airfields were repaired. Pilots were rotated. Radar continued operating. As long as radar functioned, Britain could not be caught off guard. The Battle of Britain became Hitler's first major strategic defeat, and it wasn't won by brute force, it was won by early detection. But radar's role in World War II didn't end there. As the war expanded, radar technology advanced rapidly. Shipborne radar allowed Allied navies to detect German U-boats in the Atlantic. Airborne radar enabled night fighters to intercept enemy bombers in total darkness. Ground-controlled interception systems became more precise. Germany responded with its own radar systems, including Freya and Würzburg, attempting to build defensive networks against Allied bombing raids. This triggered a new type of warfare, electronic warfare. Allied bombers began deploying chaff, thin strips of aluminum foil, codenamed window, designed to create false radar echoes. German radar screens filled with phantom aircraft. Confusion spread. Now the war was no longer just plane versus plane. It was signal versus signal, frequency versus frequency, a battle for control of the electromagnetic spectrum. During D-Day in 1944, radar played a vital role in coordinating one of the largest amphibious invasions in history. Deception operations used false radar signatures to convince German commanders that the invasion would occur elsewhere. Radar also helped defend Britain from V-1 flying bombs, allowing early detection and interception before impact. By the end of the war, radar was no longer experimental. It was essential. Air superiority was no longer just about speed or maneuverability. It was about information. Whoever saw first survived. Today, modern air defense systems, missile guidance systems, airborne early warning aircraft, and even civilian air traffic control rely on the same core principle developed during World War II. Transmit, detect, anticipate. Pilots became legends. Dogfights became iconic chapters in history. But the true revolution happened quietly. Radar didn't roar like engines. It didn't explode like artillery. It didn't dominate propaganda posters. It operated in silence. And in that silence, it reshaped modern warfare forever. Radar didn't just change the air war. It marked the beginning of the electronic battlefield, where victory belongs not only to the strongest, but to the one who sees first.